After my first dose of the antidote, I know how to save our craft from AI. I'm hard at work with Dr. Pulpenstein. Gotta run. Hey, fellas. I'm gonna save the craft of comic books.
What happened to your righteous outfit, man? You don't look so good.
Yeah, Jim's right. You look like shit.
AI is everywhere. This is very bad. Shawn is sicker than I thought. The craft is suffering severely. Where's my magnifying glass? Generative AI, digital shortcuts, struggling publishers are all making our craft sick, making Shawn sick. Ah, there's my magnifying glass. I am hard at work on the second dose of the antidote to help Shawn fix our craft. But he needs your help. Get the anti-AI art book. The antidote for all that ails our craft. Inkpulp Cyan is a book about our craft and the art of Shawn Crystal. Most art books are simply a presentation of that artist's artwork. But Inkpulp Cyan is a book about process, thoughts, and work that goes into every single piece Shawn creates. It is a completely unique take on the art book. It is the antidote for all that ails the craft. This 10-inch by 10-inch hardcover will set the new standard for all art books to come. Grab a copy now.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. It seems like Inkpulp has taken over the channel for the afternoon, and it has. It definitely has. We've got Shawn in the green room. We're going to be talking about his Kickstarter, his really his second book that he's done. But let's bring him in here and we'll talk to him about what's going on in his world with this project and anything else he'd like to talk about. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing? Do you regret having an idiot like myself on now after that commercial?
No, not at all. You've set a higher bar for us when we do memes around here, because typically I don't think we get into the character quite like you did there. You had the voice, you did it all, man.
Thank you. That, and what's funny is that character has so far been played by both my children and my wife and in commercials that have aired and some have not yet. But yeah, it's been fun. And there's another character we created for these commercials too. I just can't help it.
I saw that in one of the video clips. The Casper doc, is that what it was?
Oh, oh right, that's the third one.
More than that one, huh?
Yeah, I did a General Schwartz Pulp, who was the general who's leading the charge against the robots in AI.
You mentioned the Schwartz. Did you see that they're making a Spaceballs 2?
Are they really?
They really are, yeah.
Oh wow! Is Mel doing it?
Mel is going to be in it. Yeah, he's coming back as that Yoda homage character. I can't remember the name right at the moment, but
what was his name? Oh man, I can't believe I forgot that.
Somebody in the chat will know. But yeah, I was watching the preview earlier today. But the Schwartz. As soon as you said that, it clicked.
The Schwartz. Yogurt. Wait, was it yogurt? It was yogurt, right? Yeah,
yep, that's right. Thank you, everybody. I knew Chuck, Dave, and Dave would know that. Yeah, but yes, and Stingray too. Everybody. Yeah, he's coming back. He was like at the end of the clip saying, that he was coming back. I heard Moranis. I don't know. There's going to be a bunch of people, but
that'll be fun.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Exactly. So we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah,
and
we do.
We've got your Kickstarter going on, and we haven't had you on the channel before, so we got to talk a little bit about you.
For sure.
Who've gone to OAX have gotten to meet you. Other people have met you at shows and everything, but I think we probably should. Probably start there. Tell us, what qualifies you to have a Kickstarter about process and trying to find a way to, to turn the tide of AI. And fingers crossed that Universal and Disney might, their current lawsuit that they've started against whatever the hell that company is. I can't think of it right now.
Good.
But yeah, so Talk about it. Tell me about it.
All right. Okay. So my background is in comics as well as teaching comics. I helped to build the sequential art department at SCAD in Atlanta when they opened the campus with my good friend Pat Quinn. And I taught there and ran the sequential art department and helped build pretty much every class there. And like 2 years into teaching, Marvel called and gave me an exclusive. So I was doing both at the same time, which I don't recommend to anyone. It's a lot.
Had you
Um,
submitted, work to Marvel to get the work, or how did that
yeah, I mean,
come about?
I had been aggressively trying to get a career going in comics before I went to grad school. Well, not aggressively before grad school, but I got out of undergrad. I wanted to get into comics, and I was watching Sci-Fi Network, and they had a commercial for San Diego Comic-Con, which at the time was a small show. It was not what it is now. And I think in the ad it was like, editors from Marvel and DC will be there scoping the next talent. So I was like, oh, I got to go there. And and this is knowing nothing about comics other than I loved reading them. This is before the internet, so I really didn't know much about getting in. And I went there and had a portfolio review. I remember with Randy Stradley at Dark Horse, Scott Alley at Dark Horse, Mark Chiarello at DC, and Darren Auk at Marvel. And what I came away with was people saw potential in my drawing, but I had no idea what storytelling was. Like I had never even been like taught that idea. And they opened my mind to a book called Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud and Comics and Graphic Novels by Will Eisner. So I went home and I read those. I was like, oh, I've got a lot to learn. And so I spent the next couple years like working on my stuff, like getting better, but not getting work. And I was like, I want to go study this like for real. And at that time, there was one program in sequential art. It was at SCAD in Savannah. So I applied, got in, moved down there, and got my master's degree. And while I was in school is when I was getting really aggressive with con attendance and trying to get work. And I got my first job while I was in school for Wildstorm. And then what's funny is this: I didn't get my second job when Marvel called. It was 10 years later, and I spent that 10 years like at every show doing samples, like really working on my craft. And everyone in the business knew who I was. It was a bad time for someone who looked cartoony, and luck wasn't in my favor. But I stuck at it and moved to Atlanta to teach part time at Art Institute. And then I heard SCAD was opening a campus. So I was like, well, let me apply there. At least I could teach comics. And so a few years after that, I kept up going to cons and all that. Marvel finally called, and that led to an exclusive contract. And after about, I'd say 6 or so years of doing both, I was like, this is way too much. And my career in comics was getting stable, and I was asked to do a tryout for a Batman book, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna take the leap, and I did. And I missed teaching, but I didn't miss working for like a school.
Mhm.
So, over the years, I was like, I'd love to get back to teaching, and I finally figured out, like, well, I can just film lessons, put them on my website, and sell them there, because filming it takes work, but once they're on my website, it doesn't take any more work. And this year, Jake Parker approached me, and we built a class called Graphic Novel Pro together. And we're in week 6 of the first year. It'll be an annual course, and attendance was great. So I get to, like, we pre-record lessons. We have office hours once a week where we hop on a stream like this just for the students, and they ask questions. So I get a bit of teaching back. So all along, there's something about like art for me it's always about like a journey of discovery, like looking at art, and like it's always like a riddle, like how did they get that mark, or why did they use that color? And so as I'm creating, the whole point of me doing art is to try to like figure out riddles, and it just led me into like having all this like a knowledge in my head about tools and craft. And so when I was putting my art book together this time, um, I was like, well, why would someone buy my art book versus, there's a ton of artists that are far better than me. But what's I actually with everything Inkpulp, I've spent the past few years thinking about, well, what am I? Like, what is my lane? And I was like, oh, craft. And that's when I created the Keep Craft Alive like slogan that I'm always posting.
Mhm.
As I just saw over time, it started a long time ago, when there was a program called SketchUp that came out, and it was just 3D models, and I saw artists just like using them, just like popping them in their page and tracing them, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't want to do that. That's weird. And I just kind of doubled down. The more people went digital, the more I went traditional, and I know how to work digitally. I've done it before, but I just went the other way, and I'm really focused on because there's so many wonderful like traditions and techniques that are just getting lost to time, and people working digitally. And the podcast became a real vehicle to document stuff, like having like Klaus on there to talk about this stuff. It's great. So that's why I made this art book, like not just showing my art, but showing the whole process, each stage. And I wrote like on each piece, like the thumbnail and the pencils and either the inks or the paints. I did a little like few sentence write up to explain what I was going for. Did I fail? Did I succeed? Or what did I learn? And it ended up creating this book that I was like, this is kind of like different. And so I put everything into it, and now we got a Kickstarter.
Exactly. So it's an extension of your teaching in a way, just
Well,
because if you don't teach the kids how to draw traditionally, they're
right.
gonna they're gonna gravitate to the what's easiest, right? I mean, my kids have done both, right? But as
Yeah.
they're in their 20s now, and so but watching them kind of evolve from drawing on a notepad to drawing on their iPad, it was I don't know, it was a disconcerting no, because it was just that's what was available to them. But fortunately, they see enough original art around the house, and
Yes.
they know that we work with artists, and so they all still work traditionally more than half of the time, which is good.
Yeah,
But
and I feel like working digitally, it's started taking the medium and the art form down a path of like, this is just disposable, like just get it done and get it out. And I was like, oof, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Cause I remember the first time I saw an original page, like it was not the first time, but I remember when I was trying to break in, going to MegaCon years ago, before it was owned by what is Fan Expo own MegaCon
yeah,
now,
Fan
I think.
Expo owns it now.
Yeah, so it was way before that. And Tim Townsend lived in Orlando, and Wizard magazine, which was the big thing, would send Tim money to just throw an industry party at his house. And I got invited to one, and I walk in, and I remember seeing like Joe Madureira originals that Tim inked, and Chris Bocello, and like all of my heroes. And I was just like, I couldn't believe like the precision of the marks. Like it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I don't know. I love that. Like to see, like, to me, like and I think we're going to see a return to this. I think there's a real appreciation for things that have a human touch, where someone has dedicated their life to something that seems unattainable, but because they're so focused and so dedicated, they start to get it. And I always like cite like Olympic gymnast says that. Like I watch that, I'm like, the human body shouldn't be able to do that. But they've done that. They figured it out. And I think like all this digital stuff, like I think people are going to really start craving again a more human experience. So
Well,
I,
I'm with you. Obviously, we wouldn't have comic art fans without traditional artwork. And I don't think
yeah, yeah. So I mean,
we're not.
that's why I love about you guys. I love your community. I love everything. I love OAX. Like it's great to see like people like now like really celebrating this medium in the way you guys are.
I think West Coast Dave is trying to say you're a little bit too old school. He's saying, "Did you finish your train conductor job right after coming off of a
Oh, I
steamboat?"
think he's talking about my hat and my shirt.
Oh, is that what you think?
I think, yeah.
I don't know.
I saw my buddy Dan Panosian in
You
there
saw
making
that
fun of my
comment too,
stripe.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan's over on Facebook. Dan, you're over on Facebook all by yourself. Just letting you know that everybody, all the cool kids are hanging out on YouTube right now. But
Well, now who's looking old?
no, oh man, but no, I get it. I think that you know, we've watched over the last few years with Midjourney, and that was the program that Disney and
Yep.
Universal are taking to court. A lot of consternation in the creative community, right? Seeing the things getting taken away from them, their IP, their
Yeah.
work being
Yeah.
utilized to create works that clearly are derivative of works that other people have done. Or you could just type in an artist's name.
I
Like
know.
you could
I
type in
know.
Frank Cho Red Sonja, and you're going to
Yeah.
get something that's close to that, and
Yeah.
that's close to Frank's work. It's wrong. And
Yeah.
from the beginning, I've sat back thinking somehow, somewhere, this has to stop because it's breaking so many laws, and it hasn't happened yet. But hopefully, now that
Yeah.
some bigger players have gotten involved with it,
Yeah.
we'll
I
see
think
that. But
I think I have I mean maybe I'm too optimistic, but I have some faith that like it'll level itself out where somehow so either people will get paid for their stuff being used or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean I'm just being hopeful, I guess.
yeah, well, I'm hopeful they'll just shut them all down. But it is what it
Yeah, I
is.
mean, I would love that. It's the users that baffle me. Like I got my hair cut not long ago, and um the girl who cuts my hair was like, "Hey, I gotta ask you how you feel about something." I was like, "Yeah, sure." She's like, "I have this client who came in. He's not an artist. He can't draw, but he has this program where he types in these words and it makes art and then he sells the prints." And she's like, "He's making like a few $1,000s a month on this." And I was like, I don't understand the person who does that. That's like the hubris of that is crazy to me.
Exactly. But that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
We're promoting the wonders of traditional art. And since we've been at it, I kind of wanted to let everybody know that we are doing an art giveaway throughout this.
Yeah.
At the end of the program, we'll give it away. We've got here. Let me go full screen here so people can see the sketch card that you're working on.
And this is not done. I'm actually going to move my camera and I'm going to finish painting this during the stream. So I just got it to a point where I knew I could paint it and talk and be okay. But this will be a free giveaway. And I don't know how you want to do it, Bill, however you want to do it, raffle, whatever you want to do, we'll figure it out.
I've got it worked out. We're gonna let me see, where is it? Right here. Type hashtag Cyan into the chat, and you'll be entered into the giveaway. So I'll
Oh,
show that.
awesome.
Yeah, I'll show that periodically throughout the show. We'll do the drawing at the end of the show, and we'll announce the winner that way. I'll pull it. There's a selection tool that'll pull up on screen, and somebody will get the sketch card. So. Oh yeah, see they know how to do it. Hashtag bagel does not work, Dave.
Yeah, and Dave, I loved everything Dave said about me at the very beginning, but I was like, Bagel Princess Dave, I'm the Bagel King. Come on.
Yeah, and I guess it's a little too early, but happy Father's Day, right? Tomorrow's
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. And
uh,
you too, happy Father's Day. And I've got a birthday on Monday. So I gotta actually I'm going right from this stream to well actually I'm gonna work on a piece of art a little bit. Then I'm going to dinner with my wife for my birthday tonight.
Fantastic. Well, yeah. Well, congratulations. That's always good. It's tough when you have a lot of moments all at the same time, but sounds like you're going to make the most of it. So, the only other question I wanted to ask you was, I went over to Essential Sequential earlier today, and when I read your bio, you weren't born with a Batman shirt on, were you?
Almost. Oh, I mean,
Okay.
I
Is
have,
that what they swaddled you in after you were born?
yeah, close. I had Batman bed sheets. Actually, one of my earliest pictures of me that I still have, I think I posted on Facebook, was me in a Mazinger Z t-shirt, which that was pretty progressive of me as a kid in the early '70s to have a Mazinger Z T-shirt. I don't know where my parents got it, but I remember getting that toy and I was obsessed with it. And somehow they found the T-shirt.
I'm drawing a blank. What was that?
Oh, Mazinger Z.
I'm gonna have to Google it because I can't.
Yeah,
I mean,
Google
maybe
it
I've
because
seen it.
I think when you see it, you'll know it. But it was so for me, there was these toys these Japanese toys that came into Toys R Us, and they were huge. They were like about 2 feet tall, maybe a little more, and there was three of them. There was Mazinger
Okay.
Z.
Yes. Now I know what they are,
Okay,
but I didn't know what they were called. Okay.
yeah, and then there was another robot I didn't get. I forget what that one was called, and then there was a Godzilla one. And I was a huge Godzilla fan, but Mazinger Z, I was just obsessed with that toy.
Well, yeah, I can see why. That was they were very cool. I did not have one though, but I had a few friends who had those. Shogun
Yeah.
Warriors. Yeah.
Yes,
Very
Shogun Warriors. That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah. I love that.
It was really that's not true, Jason. Jason says if it was related to hentai, I would know something about that. I know about as much about uh, that as I do about anime and manga. Unfortunately, my kids have all this stuff around the house, not hentai, but yeah, I don't have any time to read any of it, unfortunately. And what did I saw? I saw somebody early on. Where was that? Compson. Thank you. You joined the channel as a member. We always appreciate that. That was right before the show got started. I didn't see that, but now I do.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right. So we've got some people entering the giveaway. We appreciate that. I won't leave the Cyan hashtag up there forever, but we'll bring it back every now and again. But I did want to let everybody know that well, why don't we review? I put some slides together for the Kickstarter, and
Awesome.
one of the things that we're also going to be doing today as part of the show is offering a exclusive reward tier for those of you who are watching the show right now. And I've got a link that I can throw in the chat. It's also in the show description as well, so you can click on it from there. But
Yeah. Can I just speak on that for a
yeah,
second?
please do.
When you guys invited me on, I was like, I don't have any original art tiers. Um, and I was like, I'm going to be in front of like an original art collecting community. I was like, it would be really cool to offer a tier just for CAF that is original art. So what I created was a tier, and I'm only taking on 10 of these painted sketch cards like this, plus the book for 300. So that's on that secret tier link. Yeah, just like those. So little painted sketch cards like that, plus the book for 300. And then for other people who didn't want to get a painting, I have another thing on this secret tier that is a $5 off the book itself. So if you just want to get the book, you can get a discount through the CAF link that Bill has.
Exactly. So it's the link I put in the chat. It's the link in the show description, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. And just so you know, I tried streaming to Instagram and it failed. So
Oh,
just another reason why I should just, I'm not going to scrap it. I'm going to continue to try, but it is frustrating working on Instagram.
yeah, I'd never heard of that. I'm gonna ask Jamie about that a little bit. Have you done it before, Bill?
I have managed to do it a couple times. It has worked, but I only
And
do it like once.
did you get good participation on Instagram from it?
You know what I would say, not to talk shop, but a lot of people come into the chat. I can't say that they stay very long though. That you can see
Right,
them come
yeah,
into it. You can see that they're
that
watching,
makes sense.
but
That makes sense. Yeah.
they don't interact. And I don't know if that's because they can't chat and they can only watch, or because I
Mm,
haven't seen it from that side of things. But
right.
it's kind of cool when you're watching it because you're realizing, oh my gosh, I'm touching a completely different audience that isn't on YouTube and isn't on Facebook. So there's like this excitement, but so far it's just been a letdown because
Right,
I
right.
haven't really seen the reward yet. But it
Gotcha,
is interesting.
gotcha. Yeah, I'm curious about all this stuff.
But yes, so the link is in there. The reward tier. If you go there, you'll see both the $5 discount and also the option to pick up the book and the and one of the 10 slots for a painted sketch card, similar to that one, similar to the ones that we just showed.
And I think during the show today, like I'm so close, I think it's going to happen during the show
Mhm.
easily. Is my second stretch goal will be unlocked. My second stretch goal was at 20,000, and right before the show started, I was at almost at 19,700. So I think we'll definitely hit that, and that is a free Keep Craft Alive bookmark.
Awesome. And I
And
see you have what, a couple weeks left on the Kickstarter, maybe a little bit more.
yeah, we're just about at the a little under the halfway point today. And I've got this big stretch goal plan that I'm really hoping we can hit. But if we get to, so the other thing you can do is, when you join the Kickstarter, I have in the messages I've left, there's a link. I have a new sketchbook called Inkpulp Magenta, and you can download that for free, a PDF of that. That is not in print, but that's like a little gift as a thank you for getting involved. But my $35,000 sketchbook stretch goal is I'm going to print those.
Hmm.
And everyone who's pledged at the level that has the book and my prints, my new print set, everyone who's pledged at that level and above will just get a free printed sketchbook. So I'm really hoping we get to that point because I think that would be pretty exciting.
I think that would too. So what's when you're working on these sketch cards, I remember you initially had sent us, where was that? I actually made a slide so I could show it off. So you start off with just doing the pencil and inks, and then you go in and color.
Yeah. So this is a process. When I actually learned to paint, like not that I learned, I had an idea and I painted a little bit before COVID, but during COVID, I really kind of buckled down and said, I want to get my painting to the point where I can start getting work doing my paintings. And so my close friend, Andrew Robinson, I had him kind of take me through his process. And I and I was like, and I remember asking Andrew, I was like, I like for me, it was very hard for me to render form when I didn't have line there. Like it just felt like I was lost in the woods. So Andrew showed me a way, and he does this where you do get the lines involved at first, and then you start to build your paint on top. And in the process of doing that, now I'm getting pretty confident that I could do it without line, but I like the look. So yeah, I pencil a piece, and then I don't ink it like I would a black and white piece. Uh, I ink it mainly just to have the lines there and some of the darks, like you can see here. Like if this was a black and white piece, I would have done a lot more texturally and with more blacks and stuff. But I just start establishing my values. Then I go in with this piece. I used the dioxazine purple and I painted in all my shadows and values. And then I did a wash. You can kind of see in the piece I'm working on. I did a wash where in this area, I had like a gold, and as I got away from that area, I had a blue. So I went from a light source to a cooler source, and then I threw like a local reddish orange on top. And now I'm gonna pull out the light with my opaques. So it's a process I really enjoy, and this is actually my favorite part because I feel like this is where it comes alive, and you're kind of like sculpting with color at this point because all the darks are in place and all the midtones are there. So as I'm painting, you'll see it like really start to get vibrant.
Yeah. So this is the fun part for you.
Yeah, very much, very much. This is like where the magic happens, as they say.
So when you have your once a month, you know, educational sessions with some of the other artists, do you usually do something like this where you're showing them how you work the craft, or are you doing more of a lecture style
Yeah,
presentation?
the class was designed because like we didn't design it to be like a totally hands-on thing. It seems like and Jake has a lot of experience with his school in terms of finding what the public is looking for, and they're looking for a go at your own pace type of class.
Hmm.
So we pre-recorded lectures and demos, and it's a 10-week course, and we release them each week. And then we have once a week, we have office hours where they can come and ask questions about the lessons they watched. But it's not like a hands-on. In fact, I do have one tier in my Kickstarter where I'm going to do a painting like this on a private stream that you can buy, and kind of like a private tutor session. And I don't think it'll be too big. I think so far I've sold 3 of them. Maybe by the end I'll have like 10 people. So it'll be a nice like little intimate paintings session that you can join in on and ask questions and watch.
Awesome. So a question from the audience from Mr. Easy Go Lucky. He wanted to know what medium you're working in right now with the paint.
Okay, so the inks are pencils and inks are just what they say. Then my washes are all done with fluid acrylic paint, which is made by Golden. It's what Brian Stelfreeze uses. It's like they're the best acrylics. But my opaque work, I use it's called Holbein Acrylic Gouache, and it's an acrylic paint, but it looks and acts like gouache until it's dry. So it's really opaque and it's got a matte finish. But the difference is when this dries, it's totally waterproof. Whereas regular gouache is like watercolor. You can always add water and bring it back to life.
Interesting. So is there something about the permanence of putting it down on paper that you like, or is it just the way the colors are vibrant? I mean, if Stelfreeze was using it, we all know Stelfreeze's colors always pop.
Yeah. Brian's. I mean, I've learned a lot from Brian over the years, and every time, I mean, it's crazy to me that I'm in an art group that Brian's in, because every show we do is like an opportunity for me to like get a lesson in. So I'm always asking about colors. What I like about the acrylic gouache being waterproof is as I work on top of it, it doesn't mix with what's under it. So as I'm going to add some yellow highlights into this orange once I'm done, and then that yellow won't mix with it. It'll sit on top, and it really has a nice pop to it. And yeah, Holbein pigments are incredible. So you can see how he's starting to light up a little bit in that area.
Agreed. So with these sketch cards, are these ones that you've cut yourself, or do you have a stock that you've used or that you've
No,
picked up over the years?
Strathmore sells like really high end. Like my favorite papers are Strathmore,
Mhm.
and they have this sketch card size of almost all their papers. So this is their watercolor paper, which I like, but I also use their mixed media board. They have a sketch card of that. So I just buy those, and they come in like a pack of 5. Well, I guess it depends on which one. The mixed media is a thick board, so I think that's a pack of 3, and the watercolor is a pack of 5. But yeah, I like buying them. It's a nice way for people to be able to buy a painting without like having to spend a fortune. And for me, it's a nice way to like exercise. And also with having the Inkpulp live show, it's a nice way to be able to get a painting done in the span of a show.
Interesting.
And through OAX, I discovered there's a whole community of people who love collecting this, like sketch cards exclusively.
Yes, as have I learned.
Yeah, that's
And
wild.
and just so you know, I actually picked up. I told everybody I was going to get one because I wanted to get a sketch card by you. So I've actually was the first person to break the ice on the rewards here. So I've picked
Oh,
it up.
thank you.
Yep.
That's awesome. Who do you know what character you'd wanted? Not that I need to know now, but I was just
Uh,
curious.
yeah, everybody. I'm not going to leave it up to the chat to say what character it is, but more than likely, because I have thought about it, I probably would be asking you for a Thor, just
Oh,
if
awesome.
you
Awesome.
kind of
Yeah.
version.
Dude,
Although
yeah.
I'll tell you, I was half tempted because a version of Thor that I've never really liked a lot, but I think he would kick ass on is the bearded Thor with the with the
Oh, King.
visor. Yeah,
Yeah, King
I th-
Thor, yeah.
I
Oh,
thought
that
I was
would be
like I
fun.
thought about But I don't
You
know.
know, that's
But I have a chance to. I have time, right? I can give
oh
you.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna send out a survey when the campaign ends, and that's
Good.
when you tell me. But it's funny you say that because for me, Buscema is the like penultimate Avengers artist. Like when I think of the Avengers, I think of his work, and that Thor is Thor to me. But when I saw King Thor, that was the first time another Thor design came around where I was like, "Ooh, I like that."
Yeah, exactly. Him in a leather jacket or whatever, that doesn't work for me. But
Right,
either one
right.
of those. But you're right. When I think of Thor, I'm going to be thinking of Buscema, Simonson, those sorts of
Yes.
periods. And I can't because that's when I was reading it primarily and really collecting it. So yeah, it is how I tend to roll. But Cyclops is my other go-to character when I'm
Oh,
getting
nice.
commissions. But I just think Thor's going to fill that sketch card a little bit better than Cyclops.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I love that Thor, and that sounds fun.
So let's see. I prepped a couple slides from the book too, so I felt like we could just
Yeah, let's take a
look at a few things. Like I saw that you got Klaus to sort of do the introduction.
yeah, that's crazy to me. I mean, I have next to my art table here, I can show it a little later, a print of Dark Knight Returns that both Klaus and Frank signed. And that was the book that got me wanting to do comics and to be friendly with Klaus now, and then to have him be willing to write the intro to my art book was beyond an honor. And then what he wrote just blew me away. Because Klaus and I talk about craft all the time, and especially inking. So it was really, really, really incredible to me to have him do that.
Yeah, that was nice. I actually had not had the chance to talk to Klaus until OAX. I didn't get to talk to him for a whole lot of time. I mean, I got him on a live stream, so that was fun.
Oh,
But
nice.
in person, I never. I think I saw him once at a Heroes Con, and just
Oh,
briefly was stammered my way through. You've worked on some of the most important comics of my childhood, kind of a
yeah,
thing, and
me
then and
too.
then I turned around and ran away. But
Yeah.
so
Well,
yeah, getting him on stream was like locking him in a corner, and I could talk to him for an hour and a half. But yeah, actually getting to say hi and treat him as an adult at OAX was fun.
yeah, it's funny you say that because when Klaus came on board at Essential Sequential, I was sort of new, not totally new, but sort of new there. And I hadn't done a show with him, but like Mateo and Eric had, and so he walks up, and I'm like you, like I'm like, oh my god, there's Klaus Janson. What do I just you have no business talking to this man. He is well beyond anything you could ever do. And he walks up, he says hi to Mateo, and he's super friendly. And then he says to Eric, and it's obvious, Eric and him are buddies. And then he goes, "Hey, Shawn, welcome, or nice to meet you." And he was super friendly, and I was like, "This is bizarre." And he goes, "I love what you're doing with ink," and I was like, "This isn't real." And then to become friendly with him has just been mind blowing. And I've been to his studio in New York where he created just about everything we know from him. And that was amazing. And then he became friendly with my wife and my kids, and my wife and Klaus and Jason and Mo and me are all on a texting thread. It's life's funny. It's been crazy. But
Yeah,
yeah.
they no, I mean, growing up on comics, I kind of I feel very fortunate to be in the position I am to get to hang out with creators and people who I've admired since I was young. And yeah, it's wonderful. And like you just said, it's like by and large, many people in the business are very approachable, and Klaus certainly is one of those people. Just like meeting Brian for the first time, Stelfreeze,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
you could sit and just talk to that guy and all day long and watch him paint. And
Yep.
he's just such a nice guy, and pretty and very open, just about talking about stuff while he's working. I'm just thanks to Heroes, I think many of us have probably gotten to see him work there numerous times, whether it's on stage or behind the table.
Yeah, he's amazing. I've got some good original art stories I got one from Brian and one from Walter Simonson. If
Oh,
you want to hear them.
yeah, no, yeah,
So
please.
when I was in grad school, um, I had an internship under Andrew Robinson. I was in Savannah. He was in Jolly Roger in Macon, which was about a 2 hour drive, 2.5 hour drive. And I would get up early and drive to the studio. And then Atlanta was closer than going home. And I had gotten to know Brian a little bit through his visits to SCAD. So then I would go to Atlanta and kind of like spend a day with Brian, and I'd spend the night at my friend's house, go back to Macon the next morning, then go home after that one. So I was at Gaijin kind of once a week for a summer. And so I got to, Brian was a big mentor, taught me a lot, spent a lot of time with me, was really generous. And so when I was graduating, my wife reached out to him and said, "For Sean's graduation, I want to buy a painting from you." And they set it up, and it was getting closer and closer, and Steph was getting nervous, but then it came, and she opened it up, and she kept saying to him, like, "Let me know what I owe you." And when she opened it up, there was this beautiful watercolor and a note that said, "No payment necessary. Consider this a return on investment in supporting Sean in his career." And it just blew me away that he gave that away for free. So that's hanging in our kitchen. And when Spider Verse came out, I got the kids. I got myself a copy, but I got the kids also the art of book, and they were looking through it, and they were like looking at the designs. I forget the character's name that Brian designed, but they were loving. They're like, "This looks so familiar," and I was like, "Guys, look at the signature, and then look above the kitchen table." And they realized it was Brian, and they freaked out. So that
Uh,
was cool.
that's
And then
awesome.
yeah, that was awesome. And then my Walter Simonson story is um, same sort of situation. When I was in grad school with my friend Pat, who we opened the Atlanta campus together with. When we were in grad school, one thing we did was we took a trip to New York with the school. It was like I forget what they called it, not study abroad, but something like that. And we spent 2 weeks in New York. One week was everybody together learning the architectural history of New York and going to all the museums. And then the second week was focused on your major. So our professor, James Sturm, who I don't know if you know his work, he did a graphic novel called The Golem's Mighty Swing for Drawn and Quarterly and built a school of cartooning up in Vermont. But he took us around the second week. And one thing he did was he lined up a visit to the Simonsons' home. So we went there, we spent the day with Walt, we got to know him. It was great. So when I was graduating, my friend Pat reached out to him because one of the like most impactful images to me when I was young reading comics was I don't remember which issue of X Factor it was that Walt did, but it was Cyclops on the cover just blasting his beam, like just a big, powerful image of Cyclops. And I just loved it. And so Pat asked Walt if he could do a Cyclops for me. And again, the graduation was getting closer and closer and closer, and Pat hadn't heard. And the internet is kind of just new, so email's not really a big thing. And then finally, Pat receives a package, and it's from Walter, and he opens it up, and there's this really big 14 by 17 drawing of Cyclops that Walt had done for me. And Pat picks it up, and from under it falls another 14 by 17 piece of paper, but that had Orion on it and a note written to Pat. "Sorry this took so long. I hope this helps with the weight." And he just gave Pat an Orion drawing.
Wow. That's
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
well, Walt's such a nice guy. I mean, I don't know, he's wonderful on social media. We had him on a calf update a few weeks back talking about that oversized commission that he had completed for one of our calf collectors, and
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah, he's wonderful. You know, but I also have to fault Walt because he's the guy. Like when I was 17 years old, thereabouts, I saw him at a show. It was just after Thor, first Thor book, and I was in a line. I wanted to get it. He was doing free sketches, and
Oh,
I literally, the guy in front of me got a free Thor sketch, and I got up to him and he said, I'm kind of tired. So I didn't so I got my book signed. I didn't get a sketch, but I could have started collecting original art, like, you know, at least 15 years before I
oh, that
did.
would have been amazing.
Had Walt done that sketch for me, or maybe
Oh,
not. You never
wow.
know. But I always remember that moment. But it was so cool how you know, how impactful his work was, even at, you know, for me, you know, as a teenager, seeing his Thor work, because I was, it was always Thor and X-Men that were the two books for me, and Thor leading up to Walt's run on it was kind of boring. You know, I mean, the stories weren't very good, and then all of a sudden he took
Right.
over, and it was just incredible. And yeah, if there was an artist I idolized almost as much as John Byrne at that time, it would have been, you know, Walt Simonson. And you know, he's just so important. And you know, he's been around forever. He's known
I
everybody. He's
know.
worked with so many creators, and man, uh,
Yeah, Walt's definitely a big one for me too.
uh, Marcus is saying Orion was better than getting the Cyclops, but okay.
Well, I mean, I can understand that because I mean, Walt's love of the fourth world stuff is huge, and I loved Orion, but that Cyclops molded me as a kid into and really impacted me in my art.
Oh, heck yeah. No, I mean, his those pages show up every now and again. There were actually a couple pages on Heritage. I guess
Oh
it was the
yeah,
week before last. Yeah, from that run, and both of them, you know, one went for like 16,000, and the other one went for 12. And they're just, you know,
wow,
you look at them and you think, well, those are just average interior pages with X Factor on it,
right?
but it's Walt, right? So
Yeah,
that
exactly,
it
exactly.
multiplies the page value by 6 or 7, and so deservedly so. If it wasn't inked by, I think they were inked by like Milgram, they wouldn't even be out on the street, right, for being available for
Right.
sale, since it keeps everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's another thing. So when we were at Walt's house, he said, "Let me show you guys something." He opened up a closet in his studio, and there were pages stacked from the floor up to about, I want to say, my shoulders, if memory serves correctly, of his career. He was like, this is my body of work." And that was incredible just to see them all stacked up together, like how tall it was so crazy.
yeah, it's always fun when he pulls out something from the archive, like, oh, I was just going through a flat file, and you know, here's this, here's my prelim to this cover, or
Oh,
you know,
wow.
and yeah, I mean, he's got it all, if not the, you know, having the originals as well. But it's yeah, that's awesome. He's one of a kind.
Yeah, yeah, it's very
Wherever
true.
he ends up leaving his art, I hope I can travel to and see it one day. You know, I don't know what
Yeah.
institution or whatever, but
That would
yeah.
be that would be what a great exhibition that would be for a museum to have.
Oh yeah, I think he had a few pieces once in what is that, the Illustration House in New York,
Yeah, yeah.
or Society, something like that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Society of Illustrators, yeah.
Society of Illustrators. Thank you. Yeah, I'm thinking of the for-profit side of things, but yeah, no, I love Walt, but let's keep talking about Inkpulp here.
Okay,
You
yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
you had mentioned leaving some, you know, some putting in your own thoughts on some of the process pieces. So I pulled this slide together where it just showed kind of like a step by step to the
Oh,
finished
yeah.
piece. So,
So
yeah, that's great.
yeah, so I actually it's cool because I have a commercial for the Kickstarter coming out, I think Monday, I don't remember. It's this week about that Etrigan piece
Hmm.
and kind of the process into it. But yeah, so this is a really good example of showing every stage of the creative process to getting to the final piece and the write-ups that go along with it. And like this is basically what the book is. I mean, there are pages that are just pieces of artwork because I try to document the stage of everything, but sometimes I don't get there. Sometimes I do a commission like that. I think people have seen there's a Marv I put out that's floating around,
and a Tetsuo. Like those were done at a con, so I didn't really have a thumbnail. Yeah, that Marv. So there's no real thumbnail to that one. So that's just a full page. But even then, like I did have a little sketch. Like I remember getting up at 5 in the morning in Seattle to figure out a thumbnail for that, and just on a piece of like paper that was in the room. And so I do explain like what I was going for. So every piece I do, I try to really have an intention with, like, where is the focus of the piece? So the focus here is his face. So the whole background element, the whole swirls of everything are really trying to pull your eye into the face. And the area of the face and the guns is really the whole point of the piece. So once you get away from the face and the guns, the information just falls away. And that was something I play with mainly with convention commissions. This was after talking to Eric, my buddy Eric Canetti, for a little while, and like picking his brain about like focal points and composition. And he was like, I remember Eric telling me, I try to use everything in the composition as a directional device. And that kind of blew me away. So I try. I think you can see like a lot of the like dry brush feathering and a lot of the directions of the folds, not all of them, but they're all trying to point towards the face and guns. So that's the type of stuff I put in the book. Because it just, for me, like that's the type of information I wanted to have when I was trying to figure out how to do this stuff, and still try to figure out. But I found through like art, like the calf community, like collectors like that information. I had thought it was more like artists who want to like do this for a living or want to get better want that information, but I found that collectors really enjoy learning that side of things too.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we all started out reading comics first, so we love the end product, and I think for many of us, it does. It makes us want to kind of understand what thoughts went into it, right? When you can look at a Kirby page and see that Kirby's, practically writing some of the word balloon copy and things like that, or that's always fun and informative, and you like to see the process that goes into it. And I was talking with Eric the other day just about, he was saying, do you like seeing the blue line pencil on the piece? And I do, because that's kind of part of the buildup to getting to the finished piece, and
Yeah,
to
that's
me,
awesome.
it adds to it. I'd rather it not be erased and removed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Eric's another one. Like his art brain is so big and his knowledge is so deep. He's another great person to talk to art about.
Yeah, he has a lot to say on the subject of art creation. But again, that's what's fun about it, is again, we're getting to talk to the guys who are making the artwork that that created it was foundational for so many of us, right? I mean, comics are
Right.
where we got our love for the characters and pop culture, and and you name it. Before there was cartoons or movies or anything like that, many of us had comics only. So yeah, but it's showing a different piece up here on the screen that has, I guess,
Oh,
a
yeah.
couple extra process steps in it as well.
Yeah, so this was a Juggernaut take home commission. So with this one, I was able to capture the whole process in the book too. So you can see at the bottom the little thumbnail that started it. And I tried, like, all of my work starts with a really small, like smaller than this sketch card, even like that Juggernaut was probably this big.
Here, I'm gonna switch
In
over here
Yeah,
so you can see
yeah, probably about that big. Like this is, you can see that's a
so 2
finger.
inches tall, right? So
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And so I do that because I try to get all of my shapes to look really interesting, and working that small is like I can't draw details that small. So I have to really focus on the shape. And so that really helps me just focus on what I want out of it. And then the whole goal from that point on is, how do I not lose that shape when I start adding like anatomy and other things. And um so that's what you'll see, that's what you see there. So the pencils you can see are still pretty true to that shape. And then the final, it's still there too. The thumbnail's the hardest part of it, honestly. Like if I know if that thumbnail works, the whole piece is going to be great. And I know I'll make sure the thumbnail hits, which sometimes means my thumbnails take a long time. But for me, it's worth it.
Every
And
Thursday on our CAF update, Chris Snorik, who joins me for the art picks side of things, a lot of times we almost make a decision on the artwork we want to talk about based on the small thumbnail that we see on CAF before we click to the larger image, because there's already something there, right? You might not
Yep.
be able to really understand what's in that thumbnail, but when the composition's right and the colors or the depth that you can see within a thumbnail already says, speaks to you, there's something special about that piece. And you may go through 50 of them and only like a half of those when you get there, but it's got to
Right.
work at that level before you get to the finished piece.
Yeah, absolutely. You're totally right about that. And especially in comics where you're working large and then shrinking it down. That thumbnail, if it's clear and interesting at that small size, it's a home run. And so it's worth it to just put the time into that. Absolutely.
Let's see.
And yeah, and that so yeah, oh yeah, there's the Tetsuo. Yeah, that was a fun piece. So again, like you can see like at like the little like expressive brush marks in the background, that circle are all kind of framing Tetsuo. All the like mutated organic and biomechanical material on his side, like all the direction of all the lines in there are pointing to his face. Even the brush marks on the leg that you can see are pointing to his face. The rendering on the rock to the right of his head, those brush strokes are pointing towards his face. The folds in the cloth hanging off him. So yeah, everything there. This piece, I felt like I was doing what Eric kind of was talking to me about.
Yeah,
that was a fun piece.
Let me see. I know I have one other. Oh, here you go. Some more thumbnailing.
Oh yeah, so this is this is not the whole story, but in the book is the whole story. This was a 10-page short story I did at Ahoy Comics. Dean Motter wrote it, and it was it was part of a book they did called, I forget what it's called, but it was like stories from Edgar Allan Poe, but it was like it wasn't stories that Edgar Allan Poe wrote. He was almost like the crypt keeper of this book, like introducing stories. So this is a science fiction futuristic story. Obviously, he didn't write it, but the first panel was him sitting in a bar with a space helmet on, like starting to introduce the story. So I had this bottle of absinthe like floating in front of him, like there's no gravity, and he's kind of twirling it with his thumb. But that was a really fun piece. And this, I think I did. I put the final pages, black and white pages, in there too, so you could see like what the thumbnails look like, and then in the end what the finals look like. But I made the main character the story because there was no real description on him, and it was just basically the main character and a robot stranded on this asteroid. And so I made him Killer Mike from Run the Jewels, the rapper. Because at the time I was a bit friendly with Mike, and I just thought how like it would just be interesting to make it Killer Mike. And so at the end he gets rescued by a spaceship, and so on the side of the spaceship I wrote like in science fiction, you have like numbers and letters and dashes for names of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote EL-P, which is, or no, L-P, LP, which is the other member of Run the Jewels, LP.
A little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Snifter of Terror. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what it was called.
Yeah.
Is that what it was called? I think so. It was something. Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe's Snifter of Terror, I think. Something like that. Yeah.
Might be.
It was a fun job. It was a really fun job. Ahoy came calling after like I was really fizzling out at Marvel and DC. I just felt like every book I got was really uninteresting. Really, like everything felt like a slog to work on. The scripts were just not good. And along came this company that was like paying me that Marvel rate, but the stories were so fun. The one I did before this was about this Frankenstein like monster fighting this moon rock monster in a swamp, and then at the end they smoke a joint and crack a six-pack open together. And I was like, this is my kind of comics. Like, this is so fun.
If all fights could only end that way.
I know, it was great. I mean, at one point the moon rock monster picks an alligator up out of the swamp and hits Frankenstein with the alligator. Like it was just like, to me that's comics. Like that's just fun comics.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I saw Man Thing do that a few times in Marvel comics. Alligators
Yeah,
are just logs for them.
exactly. Hey, there's
Well,
Sean Chen. What's up, Sean?
says I own a what is it? An Iceman drawing that is considered to be peak of your black and white phase.
Oh, thanks, Sean. I remember Sean getting that from me. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm getting close to the end of this guy. So the real magic is when I put his eyes in. Then if I chose the color right, it'll bring the whole piece together with some light. But you can see from where it started, where it was kind of dull and dark, how it's kind of really lighting up in the right areas now.
Well, one surprise for me is you had that large magenta area on his jaw there, and you've covered it all up. It's
Yeah, so what Brian taught me was, then the reason Brian's colors are always so like vibrant. I mean, he's using good pigments, but the main secret is he's learned what colors to put next to each other so that the color gives the other color strength. And so that magenta was there because I knew I was going to put this coral orange next to it, and that magenta really gives that orange a lot of power. And then I went in with the shell pink on top of the orange to really light it up a little more. So if you get in close, you can see the magenta, orange, and pink kind of right next to each other. And that's the trick. Actually, I want to do something. I want to light his teeth up a little bit.
he might be. It might make him look like he's smiling, but he is kind of.
Yeah, he's Ben.
Are you looking forward to the FF movie?
I haven't really been interested in a lot of superhero movies lately, but once I saw the trailer, I got very interested. I like the whole '60s aesthetic. I mean, to me, that's the FF, and it looks like they really did a neat job with it.
Yeah,
So
same here.
yeah,
That's the same reason why I'm intrigued. They kind of bring it back to the beginning, which is nice. So I have high hopes for it. But the Superman movie looks fantastic. I can't wait for that.
that's coming out soon, right?
Yeah, I think like the 11th of July. It's
Yeah,
right around
yeah,
the corner.
yeah. For me, I was like, nothing really grabbed me on Superman much, like as a character. I liked him in Dark Knight Return. I liked his presence in Dark Knight Returns, and it kind of summed up all the things I didn't really like about him. But when Tim did Superman for All Seasons, I really liked that. And then I really enjoyed the cartoon that Bruce Tim was involved with. That kind of that was like where I first found a love for Superman, was watching that. I was like, I mean, I really liked the Fleischer cartoons as a kid. Like those are great, but everything I felt about Superman, like from the Justice League cartoon as a kid, he didn't grab me. But after seeing what Bruce Timm and like what Tim did and a few other things, Quietly in Morrison's Superman book, All Star Superman, I like that a lot. So yeah, I was kind of a late bloomer on Superman.
Well, Same here. Superman was never one of my favorites, but I was a Marvel guy anyway. But
Me
yes, same.
too. I was very much
But you were
Marvel.
born in a bat with a Batman T-shirt on.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, okay. So the if I'm being truthful, the original bio and the truth of it is it was a Spider-Man T-shirt, and
all right.
I switched it to Batman because that's what people knew me for, and I hadn't worked on Spider-Man. Like that was my big dream was to work on Spider-Man, and I hadn't had that, so I made it Batman because I had worked on him. Because Spider-Man, like the whole reason I'm here is the Spider-Man cartoon from the 70s.
A lot of people cite that cartoon as what got them into comics, right? Without it,
Yeah, it
it
totally
was-
got me.
it's hard to imagine how impactful that thing was. Hey, but I got a question for you before it slides off my screen here. Chuck Arnold
Sure.
he wanted to know, from all the interviews you've done with creators from the podcast to now on the YouTube show, what's something you've learned about the creative mind and process that you weren't maybe in tune with before?
I mean, honestly, so much. The show, what I've learned mostly recently is how to be an artist business. Um, like this whole Kickstarter thing I'm doing and everything I'm doing now is stuff I've learned from the shows. All the things I built into the Kickstarter, I learned from artists like Carl Kerschel. I remember Andy Belanger was talking to us about that. Um, and I've also learned that we all have like things we think we wrestle with alone because we're in our studio all the time are really universal. And so finding that like, oh man, I thought that was me. I thought like I just thought I sucked and other artists know how good they are. But then you realize no, most artists are wrestling with that imposter syndrome stuff too. And um that's been nice. And that's I think what really works about the podcast for artists is it makes us feel like we're a community of like-minded people. If I'm trying to think of one thing I've learned, I don't know of one like art related thing I've learned specifically. I mean, I've learned a lot. I just can't think off the top of my head. But every time we leave that show, it's like another nugget of knowledge I've gotten, and it's helped me be a better artist, and it's really helped me be like a better artist who has like a business doing art as well.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest changes from, say, comics in the '60s and '70s. You had folks and artists at Marvel or DC working in a bullpen. They have other creators around them, and then there's that period where that you didn't have that, and now you've got the Inkpulp podcast. You've got other things. Pinosians drink and draw. People you found ways to kind of have that same it's not just the camaraderie of being able to work together and communicate while you're making art or at least talking about it. And I think that's an advantage that the early comics creators had on those guys like you today, or any artist that's really coming up in the business who I see John Amore. He's in the Philippines. It's not like you can go out to the coffee shop and hang out with another comic artist and talk about how to be a good professional. Whereas those guys had that, all in spades back in the day, working, in the Marvel offices and those sorts of things. So, it's great to see those things happen, because studios just aren't the way things are anymore, right? Gaijin Studio was pretty big and cool to have for a while, and but artists don't typically do that. But these shows and the streams that have happened around the groups of creators have been, I'm sure, very very beneficial. I mean, look at what kayfabe did for independent artists and all artists in general, right? Just by guys talking about the craft and what's important to them and what they see as insightful approaches to the medium. And I think all of that speaks, kind of informs you as and gives you information about how to be a better business person within the business as well. So yeah, I can only, there probably were those gaps where you didn't have that luxury. So Charles says Spidey is better than Batman. Oh, and Sean's mic is muted at the moment. Went on. Let's see.
There, is
There we
that better? I don't know
go.
how
Yep.
that.
Yep, you're back. I thought I lost you when I was going on my diatribe about artist bullpens and things.
No, not at all. Hold on, I just want to check my audio. Yeah, see, my audio changed. I don't.
Yeah, I didn't see you do
Yeah,
anything,
that's.
but I looked down and the mic was on mute. Hope I didn't bore you with
Yeah,
that.
no. As you were talking, I was agreeing with you because you hit it like completely, like the nail on the head. Like everything you said was exactly right. I remember
Okay.
when I was teaching full time and I was drawing for Marvel, like I was working these insane 80-hour weeks, and I couldn't do anything more to kind of help my I don't know if status is the right word, but getting noticed as a creator in this industry, like other than just like waiting for my book to come out on the shelf. And I mean, social media was happening, but it wasn't what it is now. And I was just like, I was like, what can I do? And I was like, well, I have these great talks with Eric when I'm at conventions because I would always sit at Essential Sequential between Eric and Mateo. And we'd always have these great talks. And then we'd go to dinners and I'd have these great talks with artists. And I was like, I should just record those. And then I have a podcast. And that was years and years and years ago. And that got me down going down the road of like exploring this. And then when COVID hit, I was like, it's time to get video involved. And now it's like with what Jim, Mateo, Eric, and I are doing, it's like we've kind of tapped into this community of creators and people who like art, and it's just been incredible. Like I'm sure you guys feel the same thing with what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, getting to talk with collectors who've been doing this for, 20, 30 years more than me, or just talking to the collectors who are just coming into the hobby as well. It's very insightful. And then getting to talk with artists like yourself and having Klaus on. I mean, I've learned a lot, and it's been fun. And hopefully, throughout all of that, we're informing the community around CAF about the business, the industry, and the hobby, that we love, and just helping people kind of navigate it. And I think, for us as collectors, before CAF and before, you could say, before social media, because CAF was out before Facebook. It was tough to find other people who enjoyed collecting original art, right? I mean,
Yeah, I'd imagine.
unless you bumped into somebody with a portfolio at a show, and you probably thought they were an artist, not an art collector. It was
Right, right.
it was a pretty closed community, and CAF and just social media and Facebook groups and all that sort of thing, and the YouTube channels, and you name it, have definitely expanded original art collecting, and just that kind of dovetails into OAX and what we're doing there right now, where we're trying to show sketch card art collecting, illustration art collecting. You want to let people know all the different opportunities that are out there to explore, so that you don't just stay single focused on pen and ink illustration. There's just so much more great stuff out there, and the cool thing is you're seeing today so many artists that are crossing over between working on Magic the Gathering now with with the Marvel IP tie, and then and doing other ventures into different mediums and IPs. It's cool. So I have to think it's like a fun time to be a creator too, because
Yeah,
while it's a struggle, right, to always get business, the opportunities that are out there are much more exciting than they were in the 80s and
I,
90s, I
you
think.
just that's the word. It is much more exciting. You're absolutely right about that. I love everything you just said, and you're right. So the sketch card's done. I'm just going to let it dry for a minute, and then the magic of peeling the tape is the fun part, where you get this nice border around it. But should I take some time now to show some art?
Yeah,
You
we
want to see
should. That
some
was
art?
that was where I was going to go from here as well. Let me.
Awesome.
Are you going
Let
to be
me.
switching your camera?
No, I can. Luckily, I can.
Oh, okay. You can zoom out. Ah,
Yeah, I've got a whole system here.
Well, that
In
came out
fact,
fantastic. And I should remind everybody, I know a lot of people have come in while the stream was going on. We are doing a giveaway for that thing, sketch card art that he has just finished. And the only way you can have a chance to get in on the giveaway is to type hashtag Cyan into the chat. I think right now, how many people have done it? We have 59 entries into the giveaway right now. And we have 71 people watching. So I know there's some of you that have not done that yet. So go ahead and do that. And we're still probably about 20 minutes away from doing the drawing, but we are going to be showing some art that is available for sale. And you can buy the artwork actually over on Essential because all the artwork has been posted there. However, we have a discount code for you that
yes.
is exclusive to those of you watching the stream right now. So that piece needs to go to Snork. Chris Snork is the #1 thing fan on Comic Card.
Oh, okay.
Well,
well,
but then again,
well, I hope,
Grant Riddle is in the chat too, and he probably would say that he's the #1 thing fan. They both have probably the most thing art of anybody on CAF. And Grant
well,
just said it right now.
there it is. I hope one of you guys gets it, and don't forget that I have that secret tier for you guys if you want to buy a sketch card with my new art book on Kickstarter. All right, so Bill, what piece do you want to talk about first that I've sent you? Actually, let me show you guys something that I'm working on that I feel like is the best thing I've ever done. It's a very secret thing. I shouldn't be showing it, but I'm going to.
Rick Garcia art. I know you typed the word giveaway after it. Do it again, but just type in hashtag Cyan and don't put anything after it, because I think if you do, it doesn't actually register you as submitting. All right, all right. I hope you don't get into any trouble for showing us this.
I don't think I will. It's in progress, but I'm doing, and you guys will appreciate this. I'm doing a poster for the Wu-Tang Clan's final tour for their Newark, New Jersey show. And I did an homage to the classic Steranko Hulk cover.
That is freaking awesome. Wow.
And it's all brush inks. And I'm making a little documentary of the making of the piece. Because for me, like, I'm such a hip hop fan, and Wu-Tang Clan is my favorite. And to combine comics and hip hop is like, that is my brand.
So how did an opportunity like that come up?
That is for a company called Collections, and Sanford Green has been doing work for them, and they've asked Sanford for like who else in the comics community is like big into hip hop, and he gave them my name last year, and I emailed back and forth with them, and they said they wanted to sit down with me at New York, but then I just never heard from them. And then there's my food, Wu-Tang for life. And then I just got an email like 3 weeks ago, and it was this. And I the bottom line is I have no time to be doing that. I didn't, but I couldn't say no. So I've been making it happen. But let me show you guys for the first time. Actually, I'll do this. This is coming out. You can see it on the internet, but no one's really seen, not many people have seen the original. My Absolute Batman painted cover, which comes out in July. It's for issue number 10. So this thing is also, Hawthorne's a huge hip hop fan. I saw that comment. But so this is on sale with one of the links at Essential Sequential with the code. The code we created is just for you guys, and it's gonna end on Monday. So it's really for this show and Sunday and Monday. Actually, through my birthday, so Tuesday. It's a 20% off code. So this is
and I'm showing it on the screen right now too. The code is CAF.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
SC. And I wanted to ask, it's only for the pieces we're showing, or is it anything within that Essential has available?
No, it's everything I have. I'm just showing off like a lot of the covers I have, the painted covers I have, and some of the snap cards I have. That's what I'm just showing, because I figure like this is a show where people love to see original art. I should show like the pieces that really celebrate what original art is. So this painting is done in the same exact process as I did that thing. This will be out in July. So this one's on there.
Yep, I've just put the link in the chat so people can go and look at the piece over on Essential.
And that one also comes with, I did a little underdrawing, like I did a thumbnail when I blew it up. I had Mateo like look it over, and he made some suggestions, so I changed some things, and so when I blew it up, I just lightboxed it and finessed the drawing. So this comes with that painting. Some people like to have that. And then this one just came out a couple weeks ago, my Absolute Martian Manhunter cover. This is another painting I did, and this is on the Essential site. But this is probably my favorite cover I've ever done. When I did this thumbnail, I was like, there is no way they're going to let me do a cover of someone's brain hanging out of their head at DC. I mean, this was my love for EC Comics right here. And my editor flipped and loved it, and they printed it. So I'm really happy this one made it through.
Yeah, I was going to
And
ask
that,
you about that one. Like, what did the editorial think? But now we know they loved it.
yeah, I was like, didn't like Katie Kubert was my editor, and I've worked with Katie for a long time. We get along great, and I love working for her. And I sent her the thumbnails, and she freaked out. And I knew Katie would like it because I know Katie's taste, but I was like, DC, I don't think they'll do it. But Katie loved it, and DC got behind it. So I was thrilled. But this one's nice because all of this stuff is done in the acrylic wash. That's got a real heavy bodied paint to it, whereas it's like really transparent in this area and then really opaque up in here. So that one was super fun. And then this one comes out in October. Another painting I have. This is a King Spawn cover. This is for issue 52 or 53, I think, coming out in October. And all of these are on the site and on sale. But yeah, this one, this is so like me because I'm a Gemini. I was like, I'm gonna draw the meanest, baddest, biggest monster spawn I could draw, and then I'm gonna paint it in pinks and purples. But still make it look mean. But when when I was done, I was like, I just painted Spawn in pinks and purples. I was like, oh, it works.
It does.
But
So
I
putting the
like it.
blues around him, helps make him look mean though.
Yeah,
Uh,
It's the values, all the darks. Yeah, but it's fun.
There
But
was
yeah,
there was one question from Chuck. I think you could basically answer it. You said from for the sketch card tier that's exclusive for us today. Is the level of finish the same as what you just did on the thing card, fully painted? Question
oh,
mark.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a fully painted sketch card just like that. And I will say, when I'm not on camera, they tend to be a little better and come out a little better.
Uh-huh.
So hold on, my mic just went out again. Hold on.
I can hear you.
Yeah, but I think it just switched to my.
Oh,
Okay, never mind. Yeah, Jason's calling me. I don't know. Jason, if you're watching and you need to talk to me, text me. I don't know what he's calling me for. But yeah, so this what was it? You asked me a question? Oh,
it was just about the sketch cards and being the same level of quality or detail with the
at
paint.
minimally they're this level of quality, yes. I
Yeah.
think the ones that you have, Bill, look a little better because I wasn't painting and talking at the same time. But um and then let me show you guys some snap cards. This one unfortunately is not for sale, but it's one of my favorite ones. But this is Medusa.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked for this, and the prelim for this. Oh, let me grab that real quick.
Snap is a thing, everybody. We've been seeing original art pop up and get sold pretty quickly of late. Tatiana had that nice Colossus piece, I think a week ago, that was snatched up when she dropped it. But yeah, this is cool. I have yet to play Marvel Snap though. I hate to say it. It is on my to-do list someday. Maybe on the
Yeah,
plane ride to Heroes next week. Oh, is that your prelim? The prelim's in color too? Oh, there we
yeah.
go.
So I do a prelim for every piece I do, and this is and actually at OAX this year I sold out of all my prelims. Like that's what sold the most. And you know, it's a study really. It allows me, like, you can see the difference. Like the prelim is much darker, and doing this informs me onto what to change. Like you can see this is like a yellowish green, but in the final, it's more of a icy green,
Hmm.
which works better. So this is a good thing I've been doing. It helps my paintings look better in the end. Hold on one sec. My audio keeps going. Okay, back to normal. So yeah, but these are the art director Snap and I become good buddies, and we're doing an art trade. And when I turned this in, he was like, "Okay, I want that one." So
So he's going to get the prelim with it, right?
yeah, I told him I give him the prelim with it. But yeah, all the covers you saw have prelims too. The Martian Manhunter prelim sold at OAX. I still have the Batman prelim. It's still like taped down to the board. I just never got around to spraying it and putting it in my portfolio. But that's the only one I have left. The King Spawn prelim sold. So yeah, those are all going. But I got a call from McFarlane's people this week. They want me to do more Spawn covers, so I'll have some more prelims of those two and covers
They like
coming.
the pink highlights.
Yeah, I guess so. This is Meek from Planet Hulk, but this is like one of the favorite paintings ever done. I feel like the composition, values, and color in this one came together like better than anything I've ever done. But this is like an obscure character, so I don't know if anyone would ever buy it, but I love this piece. This is a fun one.
Threw the link to the Meek in the chat for everybody.
And then this is Rocket. This is again the prelim for this sold at OAX. And the prelim, you see the prelims look like they're pretty close. The Martian Manhunter was almost like identical. Like it was crazy how much I nailed it in the prelim on that one. But yeah, this Rocket I was really happy with. This is fun.
Yeah, I mean, what's
Martian Manhunter sold. Oh, that's why Jason was calling. I sold the Martian Manhunter. Well, thanks, Jay.
Oh,
Thank you for
wonderful.
buying it. Whoever bought it.
Yeah, I thought I saw West Coast Dave was trying to add it to his basket, I guess, and it wouldn't let him, so he thought maybe it might have sold, but
Oh,
now
that's
we have
probably what happened.
confirmation. So that's great.
I'm sorry, Dave. And here's Gladiator. Like this is a character I love, and so Snap lets you pick your characters. And I pick some. All the ones I pick I love, but like the I do think like, well, this original sell or not. But Gladiator, I was like, I don't know if this will sell. I don't really care. I get to draw Gladiator, and so these originally, Mojo's coming, Jason. Mojo's coming. Don't worry, we're getting there. But the when I first started working for them, I was going to paint the cards, and then I realized the approval process because I'm working for Snap, who isn't Marvel. Snap has to run everything by Marvel, and then so with that whole approval process, I was like, if I put paint down and someone wants changes, that's going to be a mess. So I just colored them digitally. But after developing a relationship with them and working for a little while, they requested me to start painting them, and that process has been great. I think because me and Jamaro, the art director, are he's an amazing artist, by the way. We get each other, and I do those prelims, and so once those are approved, it's good. So this is my Gladiator, which I love. I love the structure of the figure work in here and the ink work. This one I was really happy with. And also, like, I got to get pretty organic in the asteroids floating around behind them. Yeah, Gladiator's awesome. I love Gladiator. And then, so since Jason's requesting it, this was one I grabbed out of pure fanboyness. My favorite artist coming up was Art Adams. My favorite books were the X Babies ones where they went to the Mojoverse. And so when I saw an opportunity to draw him, I grabbed it. And then I got really nervous because Art joined Essential Sequential. And I was like, Art, can I just show you my Mojo to see if it's any good? And he gave it his stamp of approval. So that felt good. But yeah, I was really happy with this Mojo. This was fun.
Yeah, that one came out fantastic, really. And a reminder, the CAF 20 SC will get you 20% off on Shawn's work over on Essential Sequential through your birthday.
Yes, which
So
is
that's
Monday.
nice.
So I guess it'll end Tuesday, I think is what Jason said it to. And Jason said this or the Green Goblin. Jason has the Green Goblin, which again, being a Spider-Man fan, I grabbed that one quick. That was one of my favorites too. But we were talking about the FF earlier. So one of my favorite cards I've drawn was the Sue Storm. I will grab the FF any chance I get to draw them. So I got to do an Invisible Woman and a Mr. Fantastic. And I've tried to sell them as a pair. I mean, they're listed individually, but I would give someone a nice little discount if they bought them together, because like the husband and wife team, that would be so cool to have together. But yeah, these were fun to do, and these were the good black and white ones.
So with the art director, is he giving you the opportunity to pick from a set of characters, or do they come?
Yeah, so they usually give me a list to choose from. Sometimes it's a big list, sometimes it's a little smaller, but there's still a lot of choices. So everyone I've chosen, except for one, this character, Iron Lad, and then I did a Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I was thumbnailing Agatha from Scarlet Witch, and I turned in the thumbnail. They're like, actually, could you do Negasonic? We need a Negasonic. And I was like, I just did the thumbnail. I was like, okay, you guys are good to me. Okay, fine. And then I did it, and I was really happy with it. And that's like my daughter's favorite. So I was able to give that to her for her birthday last year.
Oh, nice.
And then they gave me a list to choose from, but they said, we need an Iron Lad. Could you do one? And what's funny about this is when I turned in thumbnails for the Gladiator piece, this was one of the thumbnails. It was Gladiator. And I thought for sure this was the winner. They chose the one you saw, which I thought was a nice pose, but not nearly as interesting as this. In the end, I thought that Gladiator came out great. And I was like, okay. So when they asked for an Iron Lad, I like looked at my thumbnails. I was like, wait a minute, that could work. And they went for it. So that was a cool little thing to have.
That's
And
funny.
yeah,
Your pal
that's
Jim Mafood says you're crushing these pieces. Next level.
thanks, Jim. Thanks, dude. It's awesome. Thank you for coming and watching, Jim. It's cool when your homies come and support you.
Yeah.
So that's all the original art I have to show. But like we said, every piece is available on the site. But those are like my covers and cards. Those are like the real gems in the mix.
Yeah, and I can even I'll throw a link. And I'm going to update the show description when we're done here, just so it'll have a link directly to your page on Essential.
All right, I think you saw what I saw.
Yes.
Someone's saying, peel the tape off slowly. This is always the most satisfying part of doing it.
We don't have any risque music to play right now. I'm
I
sorry,
know.
everyone.
If only. Oh, but look, so pretty.
Oh, too funny.
Yeah, I love this part. And so yeah, the sketch cards, if you guys get one on the tier, we'll have this nice little board around them. I do it on all my pieces. There you go. Now it looks real.
Wow. Yeah, that came out awesome. Little John says that's so satisfying.
Yeah, it really is. For me too. I'm glad it's. Maybe I should just make real, like ASMR reels of peeling the tape off of sketch cards.
You should. Well, we know what the theme music should be. Some pole
Yeah,
dancing,
totally.
Kit Kat Club kind of.
Yeah, totally. Now retape it.
James Siegel is a sadist.
One thing I will do to all my paintings is I spray them with a clear varnish that makes them UV proof, and also makes the colors even more vibrant. So that's that this will even get kicked up another notch. But yeah,
Mr. Easy
time
Go
for a
Lucky.
cigarette. Exactly.
Oh man. Let me gosh, I don't even know what link I should put into the chat as a reminder here. I already got the link over to your main page over there at Essential. Here, I'll throw a link back into for the Kickstarter in general with the secret reward tier.
Oh yeah. So yeah, any of you guys who want a a painted sketch card in my new art book. This tier is really only being shown on the CAF stream and on the CAF YouTube channel and site, I assume. So it's really I made this for you guys because I love the whole comic art collecting community. I love OAX, I love CAF, and I thought it would be cool to offer you guys something just for you.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that, Sean. And it is true. If you don't follow the link that I put in the chat or that's in the show description, you won't see the discount reward, for $54 for the book, or the option to add a sketch card to the book as well. So this really is only available to those of us who are watching the show live or who follow the link that I put in the email or the show description. And I will send out a reminder email too, Sean, so that everybody knows that these opportunities are out there. Let's see here.
I'm switching my camera so I can come back on the screen.
I'm gonna say you're there we go.
There we go.
Throw myself back. Yep, I'm here. So I did get the Stingray got one too. Great. I saw that.
Awesome.
I think how many you're at 21,080. So I think we got four.
Nice. Oh,
four
that's great.
so far.
Oh, and that means we broke my stretch goal of 20K. So everyone's getting a free bookmark. That's great. Awesome.
There we go. Yeah, Stingray, you'll Sean, you said you would be emailing everybody at the Kickstarter close.
Yeah, there's
things like what character
yeah,
they put and that sort of thing.
Totally. There's a survey feature that I think I can ask through, and if not, I'll just get in touch with the guys separately. But yeah, you don't need to choose right now. Once the campaign's over, we'll figure out what everyone wants.
I'm sure it's really Stingray needs to know. Would you do a Marvel Stingray character on a sketch card, or would you turn that up? You wouldn't turn that one down if he requested it?
No, why should I turn it down?
No, not at all. No, well, he's not like painting the Jack of Hearts or anything. I mean, his costume is a little bit easier to do. I'm just pulling Stingray's. Stingray literally said the same
Jack
thing.
Of Hearts.
It's not the Jack of Hearts, right? Because we have another gentleman, #1 Marvel fan, who I think likes to torment our artists every once in a while by asking for the Jack of Hearts.
Awesome. I see Coron Kaiserstone's in the room. Coron's one of my favorite artists. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Well, we got 83 people watching the thing right now, but we got to do the giveaway. We might as well do that right now, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the show, reminder. We'll give everybody a few-minute warning here. Let me show the where is that? Right there, Cyan. You got to type #Cyan, put it in the chat, and you'll be entered for a chance to win that sketch card that you see right there in Sean's hand. We have 63 people entered right now.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and let me get this screen shared here. So I'll give everybody 60 seconds who haven't done it. Again, there's 86 people watching, so at least 20 of you have not entered the giveaway yet. And I'll even just say it now. Whoever gets who is selected for this, I'll have you shoot me an email and I'll relay that to Sean and Jason. But my email is bill@comicartfans.com. So whoever wins, please email me after we handle that. I'll even show this up on the screen there. Look, we have 66 people.
Oh, wow.
Out of 88 people watching us live right now, only 68. Okay, we're getting there. I thought we could do a little bit better in the last couple seconds here. And everyone hit the thumbs up as well. Thank you for the reminder on that, #1 Marvel fan. And hey, when the show's over, leave a comment. We like that too. James Siegel's feeling lucky. All right, we got to go more than 69. Everybody, come on.
Come on.
We're not stopping there.
Sonu's in there. Sonu has a bunch of my pieces.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, there's got to be some. There we go. 70.
Okay, 70. Thank you, George Peterson. And for pushing us over. Corey Rust is back in. All right, cool. Keep it at 69. Yeah, it would be along with that theme that we were talking about just a minute ago. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm going to click the draw button. We'll see who gets to be the lucky owner of that thing card right now.
Is this a StreamYard? Hey, Chuck won. All right.
All right.
Congrats.
Congrats, Chuck. If you're still thinking about backing it, though, you should get one as well. Just remember that. But yeah, and James Siegel said he was feeling lucky. He almost got it. I saw even a few other names on there that I recognize.
Yeah. Michael asked a question. If you've already backed it, can you get the sketch card? What I would do, Michael, is cancel that and then get the sketch card and book tier because it'll be cheaper that way. Uh, rather than spending 300 on just the card and then you're paying for the book also. The sketch card includes the book. So maybe cancel out that and then then pledge at the sketch card level. And if you're having trouble with that, just shoot me an email like today at inkpulp@gmail. But I think that would probably be the best way to go.
All right. Yeah, I had a feeling that would be the way, that a lot of people who were watching the stream today had already backed the project, and that was going to be a question. I thought about bringing that up at the beginning, and I forgot. So thank you, Michael, for. But I figured that was the right answer. Cancel and redo it.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. All right. Well, you still have 6 spots open for the sketch cards, and it sounds like you
Awesome.
sold a few pieces of art, and yeah, you crossed 21,000 already, so that's good.
That's great. Thank you guys so much. And that sketch card here. So if you're watching this stream, do you keep your streams up after they've aired live?
Yeah.
Will?
Yeah, it'll be
Okay.
up. Yep.
So anyone watching this, I'm not going to advertise that for a little while. I'm kind of trying to keep it for the CAF community as long as I can. So you can still go grab it. And same with the sale. I'm not going to be advertising that really. That's for you guys. So if you're watching this after it's live, you feel free to go grab a piece if you wanted to grab a sale piece too.
All right, there you go. That's we appreciate that, Shawn. Sincerely, I hope we can sell them out before you have to turn it on to the rest of the.
Yeah,
as an opportunity.
that would be great. Well, I mean, look, you guys have been so incredible to me and so many artists. I love like that we can have this like cross community thing, and if I can do anything to give to your community like I do my community, I want to do that too.
Thank you. Chuck Ronald had asked about being able to pick up the sketch card at Heroes, but I know you're not going to Heroes, and
I won't be there.
Yeah,
and and I won't be starting them till the campaign's done because that's when I'll find out when you or what you
he's talking about the thing sketch card that he
the freebie. I won't be there. Trying to think if I'll see anyone going. Chuck, send me an email, inkpulp@gmail. And I don't know, but if I can think of someone going that I could pass it off to, then you could pick it up from them. So let's stay in touch.
All right. Well, shoot me an email. Well, I got Chuck. Chuck has my email. We've corresponded a few times in the past. Are you at OAX? Well, yeah, you'll be at OAX.
Oh, I'll definitely. Yeah, I am. I feel like I'm one of the really lucky people. I've been to every one, and I'll be there again. So I'm stoked.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Shawn, again, this was a lot of fun, man. I really, congrats on the success of the Kickstarter so far. I mean, you have over 16 days to go, and you're at over 21,000 right now. So that's great.
Yeah, I'm stoked. And if we can get it up to 35, then most people are going to get a free printed sketchbook of Magenta, which I would love to see that happen.
That would be incredible. And a reminder to everybody too about the sale that's going on over at Essential for Shawn's work through his birthday. So through the end of the day on Monday, 20% off. We had the where was that? We had the gosh, I already lost my
the pieces.
Well, the code. I wanted to make sure.
It was CAF 20
SC. There we go.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
When you're checking out, use that, and then that is how you'll get the 20% discount. I might have to go over there and see what else is. I wasn't sure if it was only for the pieces we were showing, Shawn. That's I forgot to ask you that before the show started. So
yeah, it's for everything. Everything of my art is 20% off. I was just showing off the most recent bigger like covers and cards and paintings and stuff.
All right, fantastic. What is Jason's email from Essential? Jason@essentialsequential.com. If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Okay. Yeah, I saw Stingray had a question for Jason, but yeah, ask him directly, Stingray. He'll get back to you promptly. He's watching the show. And how much was the Meeks art? The Meeks art was
Not much.
$3,500, right? But it's
Mm,
20% off, so it would be $2,800.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. All right, fantastic. Well, listen, hey, everybody, thank you. Saturday afternoons are busy for anybody. We appreciate you hanging out with us today. This was a lot of fun, Shawn. I really had a great time, man. And
Dude, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me. Thank you for like letting me come on and talk about all my stuff and show my work.
well, it's my pleasure. Well, everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy Father's Day to those of you who are parents, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you sometime next week for sure. And we'll definitely see those of you who are going to Heroes, and because many of us from the CAF team will be there Thursday through Sunday. Take
Awesome.
care,
Have a
everybody.
great time.
Thank you.